session ahead that is going to be having passionate arguments about today's debate, because the topic for today's debate, even me, I am interested about it, so I can't wait. But before we start the debate proper, I would like us to take 1 minute and pray in our various ways. Amen. I pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our prayer. Like I said in the beginning, in today's debate, we will be having a session for the semi-finals. And in today's debate, we have two states battling each other for the spot in the final. And these states include Punjab and Gujarat. So if we have the participants from Punjab and Gujarat, we would like you to notify me before I hand over to Mr. Bitey. Okay, Fatima is here. Okay, Aminata is here. Okay, Aida is here. Okay, Fatufai also is here. We are set. Okay, since we have all the debaters here, I would like to hand over to our judges. If they are also set, we can start the debate proper. Mr. Bitey, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Abdul Karim, and the team, and the debaters, and the audience that we have here tonight. Oh, yes, tonight. I'm very excited too about what the debaters, or the points the debaters would be bringing forward in this round as they battle their way to the finals of what we've all learned to be a very entertaining and educative debate sessions. So Al-Qasim said he would be joining us shortly. He was struggling with network, but I'm sure before we start, he'll be here. So I'll just get on to introducing the motion for the audience to know. I want to believe the debaters were already communicated. The debaters were already, the motion was already communicated to the debaters. So the motion before the House is quite interesting and quite contemporary as well. So, and it reads, this House believes that the illegal migration is caused by the weak education system in the Gambia. That this House believes that the illegal migration is caused by the weak education system in the Gambia. So the last round, I did not get into the details of what we would be looking at as judges, because I believe it's just a repetition of something that we've been having over and over again. So I would just let the debaters get on with. I'll just let the debaters get on with what we are debating or on the topic. So I just want to confirm first if Al Qasim is here before we start. Al Qasim, are you in? I'll have to give him a direct call. Please allow me to give Al Qasim a direct call and see. He was struggling with network. Man, but I'll call him Al Qasim. Abdul Karim, is Abdul Karim here, please, before us?
Yes, Mr. Bidi, I am here with you.
Al Qasim said he is struggling with network. I would not want us to wait or delay this debate any further. So
Okay.
we could just start, but we would have only one judge, and that would, fortunately or unfortunately, be me. So we start, please.
Okay, no problem.
Then, so if the house is set, we would hear from the Prime Minister.
Education, your power to success. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of the House, greetings to you all. Before delving into the debate proper, first allow me to give you the structure of my debate.
No, ya kena bulu. Sabu paling mau kena bulu. Hara mai venue pani bini. Ano bulu.
Please, can you mute your mic?
Assalamu alaikum, Omar. Your mic is muted. Can you please help us mute it, please? So, Prime Minister, I'll start your time all over again, so you could start. You go on, please.
Education, your path to success. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of the House, greetings to you all. Before delving into the debate proper, allow me to give you the structure of my debate. First, I will start by reminding the House of the motion. Secondly, I will define the key terms. Thirdly, I will give my valid points, which are going to be backed by statistics, surveys, and alternatives. Fourthly, I will rebut the point of the opposition bench. So I will summarize, then in summary, I will conclude. Okay, to remind the House about the motion, this House believes that illegal migration in the Gambia is caused by the poor educational system. So define the key terms. Illegal migration, firstly, it is the movement of people from one country to another without proper documentation or permission. The second one we have is the Gambia, a small West African country located on the Gambia River, known for its diverse culture, tourism, and hospitality. The educational system, the institution, policies, and practices that share education in a country. And the next one is the poor educational system. An educational system which is characterized by inadequate resources, low quality teaching, and poor educational outcomes. Now to start with the debate proper. First, my point. The first point I have is the regional inequalities in educational access. This refers to how disparities between the education sector in the urban area and the rural area of the Gambia, which exacerbate the weak educational system, leading to high illegal migration rate in the rural areas. Firstly, we the governments, we are not perfect. Of course, we are not perfect. But we have our weak points. That's why we've conducted a survey with the help of UNESCO in 2020. UNESCO Educational Monitoring Report indicate that 38% of the rural teachers in the rural areas in the Gambia are unqualified, compared to just 12% of the teachers in the urban areas, which are qualified teachers. That is why there is high illegal migration rate in the Gambia, especially the rural areas. That's why as a government, we've come up with an alternative to this problem, that the Gambia government in collaboration, that is my government, in collaboration with the international organization like MRC Holland, UNESCO, and UNICEF, are working hand in glove to make sure that the school infrastructure is being developed in the rural areas and in Gambia, which is ongoing right now. As you can see, especially in MRC Holland, they are building a lot of schools in the rural areas and even in the urban areas, and giving scholarship to the less privileged, and also promoting early child education, early to school, you will graduate early and then learn properly, especially in the rural area. That's why the Basay campus has been built in the rural area so that the rural students will not find it difficult to be traveling to combo areas or the urban areas to find educational system, and which is going to minimize the illegal migration rate. My second point is inadequate skills and career guidance, which is often in the Gambia, the educational curriculum prioritize the theoretical knowledge than the practical knowledge. We, the government, we are aware of this. That is why we have conducted a survey also. According to the 2022 report of the International Labour Law, International Organization, that is the ILO, 75% of the employers in the Gambia reported difficulties in finding employers with good skills that they required for the job, in which most of the youths complain that they don't learn those skills in the school. Of course, we know that there is only one government institution skill center in the Gambia, which is UNICEF, previously known as previously known as GTGI. So the alternative to this point is that the government has come up with the National Youth Development Plan, which will empower the youths with funds and skills. They are going to train them on various skills so that if they are done, if they have been certified with those skills, they are going to help them with funds, which is going to help them to have proper skills, and it is going to minimize the illegal migration rate in the Gambia. My third point is the low educational level. In the Gambia, the low educational level system is the insufficient formal teaching, lack of educational qualification, and inadequate awareness of the illegal migration system. People who tend to embark on this journey People who tend to embark on this journey tend to have less education, and mostly some of them are dropouts. That's why a conduct was done in 2021 by Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education indicated that the senior secondary school dropout rate was 21% nationally, with significantly higher in the rural areas, where 38% drop out before completing senior secondary school. This is due to early marriage and high illegal migration rates in the Gambia, especially in rural areas. So the alternative to this point is the campaigns. The government, we are conducting campaign to raise awareness about the illegal migration rate so that they can stop it. Okay. POI.
If the educational system is a cause of illegal migration, why do Gambians pursue higher?
So the time for POI has elapsed.
Okay. Please do not waste my time again. I know that to pre-rebut the points of the opposition bench, I know they are going to come up to say like the economic hardship, the political hardship, and the social cultural influence and all those stuff. But let me tell you, a government, a country without proper education being given to the youth is useless. They are going to take things which you know that it is going to risk their life also. To summarize these things, firstly, I have redefined the points of my point, predefine the points, and also give my valid points, which are backed by statistics and surveys, and also. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Prime Minister. Thank you very much, Honorable Prime Minister. The House is set to hear from the opposition leader.
Waiting.
Shit. The camera is not working.
Oh my gosh.
Can you tell?
Can you please give me some minutes because my camera is not functioning?
Okay.
Yes.
Honorable Speaker, can you able to start the debate for me, please? Sorry, the whole procedure.
Okay, opposition leader. You may proceed.
Waiting for the development of the undeveloped nation is a sign of undeveloped mentality. Honorable Speaker, as the Prime Minister, I will start by giving you the rundown of my debate. I will redefine the key terms. I will remind the House of the motion, redefine the key terms, widen my parameters, review the baseless point raised by the Prime Minister, give my tangible and precise laconic points. I will accept one POI in the 5th minute of my debate. I will summarize and then after which I shall conclude. Strictly following the structure of my debate. The motion table reads, this House believes that illegal migration is caused by a weak educational system in the Gambia. I will now move on to the... Sorry, whose mic is on, please? I will now move on to redefining the key terms. The Prime Minister came here and defined educational system separately, but unfortunately, educational system be defined as a phrase and not word by word. An educational system refers to a structure, an organization. An educational system refers to a formal structure and organization of an education within a country or region. In this case, the Gambia encompassing all institutions, policies, curricula, teachers, students, and processing involved in delivering formal education. It includes the different levels of education, primary, secondary, and tertiary. The governance of these levels and the standard and the framework guiding how education is administered, evaluated, and evolved over time. Sources of this phrase, educational system, is UNESCO and OECD. I know our opponent might come and ask, what do you mean by UNESCO or OECD? Well, UNESCO stands for the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, while OECD stands for the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Now to the widening of my parameter. This House believes that the illegal migration is caused by the lack of political will in different sectors and not the weak educational system in the Gambia. I will now move to review the insignificant points raised by the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister came here and made mention of construction of schools in the province. Where was this published and what is your reference? You also mentioned of weak educational system fails to provide employable skills leading to migration. This is misleading and it simplifies the real issue. Migrants from the Gambia are not living because they lack skills. They are living because local economy is barren and fails to absorb even educated. A staggering 93% of Gambians who migrated were underemployed and 95% of cities job scarcity their reason for living. This is from GBOS 2018 fact check Gambia 2022. Even with higher education, young Gambians are left with no opportunities or income security. This isn't an educational issue, it's a system of economic failure. I will now move on. Moreover, I will now move on to my points. My first point is going to be economic instability and poverty. Illegal migration is more significantly driven by economic hardship, unemployment, and poor living conditions rather than just educational system. According to the World Bank report 2022 published by Kerfatus Bubajajigo on the 26th of December 2022 has it that countries with high poverty level tend to have the high rate of education. The Gambia's high poverty rate of about 48% is a key factor pushing people to migrate seeking better livelihood. So this suggests that economic conditions are a stronger driver of migration and not education. To my second point, which is political instability and governance. In many cases, weak educational system, corruption, and human rights abuses push people to leave their countries. The Gambia experienced a decade of authoritarian under Yahya Jammeh, which contributed to widespread instability. People often flee escape operation or lack of political will. For example, reported by CNN journalists on political and on instability and political unrest, Umar Jawenza on the 24th of February 2024, it reads, countries like Venezuela and Syria have high level of illegal migration due to governance issues, even though both countries have developed educational system. Unquote. So, where is the weak educational system the government bank proclaimed to be the cause of illegal migration in the Gambia? To my third point, which is climate change and environmental factors. Climate change and environmental factors play a significant role in illegal migration in the Gambia, especially affecting rural areas and agriculture. The International Organization for Migration reported, as noted by Umar Ba in the Standard newspaper on October 12, 2024, that environmental factors are increasingly becoming a dominant cause of migration globally, particularly in West Africa. This issue is largely separated from educational system. Therefore, government bank should conduct more thorough research before coming to claim this debate. Now to the summary. I came before this house, reminded the house of the motion, define the key term educational system by coining them and not separately. Approach the motion judiciously by widening my parameter, rebuted the baseless point of the government bank, give my tangible laconic points, which were economic instability, poverty, political instability, and governance, climate change, and environmental factors, all backed by statistic with reference. Asked for a POI, but there wasn't any, showing that this entire house stance is clear. As the opposition leader, I hereby conclude that this house believes that illegal migration is not caused by the weak educational system in the Gambia, but the lack of political will in different sectors. Thank you all.
Honorable Abakat, how are you? But I was knocked out because powers went off here, and I was out of the call. Huh?
So were you able to get her presentation?
I was not. I was out of the call.
Oh my God!
I got the rebuttals and I got the first point. That was about economic hardship. After that, I was out and I was trying to contact you, but I could not.
Okay, no issue. We can have her again if possible.
Honorable opposition leader, I am so sorry. I am sorry, but now I did it.
Now more problem na si Gambia bicha. Fatima,
Now it would.
Fatima, you can come in, please.
Mr. Bide, I just want to raise a suggestion. Instead of
Please.
her going back to repeat what she just deliberated, I think it's better. I don't know whether you guys have any backup speaker here or any backup person here who will be able to like work with you and then give her her deserving points. If not, returning
want to do that?
her back to the debate may actually consume time and may not be the best
Fair to
protocol at this moment.
It is
Fair
not-
enough.
Yes. So you do it. Right. Let's have a conversation about this after the debate.
Okay, no
So I'll
problem.
leave her spot empty because I have some of her points and I've got the rebuttals. But it's only one point and it may affect her. So we just proceed with the other ones. Then myself and you would catch it on from there while we are
Mr. Bide?
debating on the motion later.
Mr. Bide?
Yes.
Mr. Bide? Yeah, I also guys,
No.
we just have him again. We just have her again if possible, if that is okay with that. Because, that man was not put in picture, and then if you want to continue with it like that, it might not be that much hard to.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
you have to
Let's
be fair.
just have for free and fair debate. Let's just have her again. Yeah.
Honorable opposition leader, I would want to apologize, but we would have to have you back. Baseni, please. Honorable opposition leader.
I'm here.
I am sorry, but it's unfortunate that we live in a very sad country. But so you'll have to go back and start.
To my second point, right?
The timing has, when I posted, it was 3 minutes 54 seconds. So if you have to go, the timing would be affected. So I'll suggest you start, please.
I start over the debate. You mean, or what? I should start with which point?
You start with where you
Just start with the
Start
debate
from the
again.
bottom.
Just start the debate again.
Please start from scratch, from zero.
Okay.
All right, and I'm sorry, yeah.
No, it's fine. Give me some time to arrange my papers, please, because I have missed all of them. This shouldn't happen to me. Waiting for the development of the undeveloped nation is a sign of undeveloped mentality. Honorable Speaker, as the opposition leader, I will start by giving you the rundown of my debate. I will remind the House of the motion, redefine the key terms, widen my parameter, rebuke the baseless point put forward by the government bench, give my tangible points. I will accept one POI in the 5th minute of my debate. I will summarize and then after which I shall conclude. Strictly following the structure of my debate, the motion table reads, this House believes that illegal migration is caused by the weak educational system in the Gambia. I will now move to define the key terms. Some of the key terms. The Prime Minister came here and defined educational system separately. Unfortunately, educational system should be defined as a phrase and not word by word. An educational system refers to the formal structure and organization of education within a country or region. In this case, the Gambia encompassing all the institutions, policies, curricula, teachers, students, and processes involved is delivering formal education. It includes the different levels of education, primary, secondary, and tertiary. The governance of these levels and the standard and the frameworks guiding how education is administered, evaluated, and evolved over time. Sources of this phrase, educational system, is UNESCO and OECD. I know our opponents might come and say, what do you mean by UNESCO or OECD? Well, UNESCO stands for United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Education, while OECD stands for Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. To the widening of my parameter, this House believes that illegal migration is caused by the lack of political will in different sectors and not the weak educational system in the Gambia. I will now move to review the insignificant points made by the Prime Minister. She came here and made mention of construction of schools in the Gambia. Where was this? When was this published? And what is your statistic? You again mentioned that weak educational system fails to provide employment, skills, and leading to migration. This is misleading and simplifies the real issues, migrants from the Gambia are not living because of the lack of skills. They are living because the local economy is barren and fails to absorb even the educated. A staggering 93% of Gambians who migrated were unemployed and 95% cited job scarcity as their own reason of living. This source is from GBOS 2018 Fact Check Gambia 2022. Even with the higher education, young Gambians are left with no opportunities or income security. This is an educational issue. It's a systematic economic failure. Now I'll move on to my points. My first point is going to be economic instability and poverty. Illegal migration is more significantly driven by economic hardship, unemployment, and poor living conditions rather than just educational system. According to the World Bank report of 2022, published by Kerfatus Bubajajigo on the 28th of December 2022, has it that countries with high poverty level tend to have higher rate of illegal migration. The Gambia's high poverty rate of about 48 is a key factor pushing people to migrate seeking better livelihoods. So, this suggests that economic conditions are a stronger driver of migration and not education. My second point is going to be political instability and governance. In many cases, weak governance, corruption, and human rights abuses people to push people to leave their countries. The Gambia experienced decades of authoritarian rule under Yahya Jammeh. We contribute to widespread instability. People often flee to escape oppression or lack of political freedom. For example, reported by World Bank report of 2022 by Kerfatus Bubajajigo on the 26th of December 2022, reported by CNN journalist on the instability and political unrest, Omar Jawenze on the 24th of February 2024, and it reads, countries like Venezuela and Syria have high levels of illegal migration due to governance issues, even though both countries have developed educational system, unquote. So, where is the weak educational system the government bench proclaimed to be the cause of illegal migration in the Gambia? To my third point, which is environmental factors and climate change. Environmental factors and climate change play a significant role in illegal migration in the Gambia, especially affecting rural areas related on the agriculture. The International Organization for Migration reported that, as noted by Omarja in the Standard newspaper on October 12, 2024, that environmental factors are increasingly becoming a dominant cause of migration globally, particularly in West Africa. This issue is largely separate from the educational system. Therefore, the government bench should conduct more thorough research before making claims of this debate. Now to my summary. I came before this house, reminded the heart of the motion, redefine the key term educational system by coining it as an entity and not separately. Approach the motion judiciously, widening the parameter, rebutted the baseless point put forward by the government bench, give my own tangible and solid point, which were economic instability and poverty, political instability and governance, climate change and environmental factors, all backed by tangible statistics with reference. I asked for a POI, but there wasn't any. Yeah, what's the POI, please? How many minutes in debate? 5.
You said like Gambia, there is political instability in the Gambia. So how do you manage to survive there all this time?
Can you come again, please?
Are you scared or you cannot answer the question? No. For your own understanding, let me just answer the question straightforward. Let me repeat the question, which is like, you say there is political instability in the Gambia. But how do you manage to survive there all this time, and how are your people living there?
Political instability, which resulted to a lot of Gambians embarking on illegal migration to seek asylum. So, and there was a political instability, sorry. Okay. Since time is not on my side, I will just quickly move on to my points. I came before this house, my points which were political instability and governance, climate change and environmental factors, all backed by tangible statistics with reference. I asked for a POI, but there wasn't any. Sorry, as the opposition leader, I hereby conclude that this House believes that illegal migration is caused by the weak educational system in the Gambia, but the lack of political will. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Opposition Leader, for that. So you just give me a minute while I grade this. Thank you very much, Opposition Leader. The House is set to hear from the Deputy Prime Minister.
Okay. Speaker of the House, in my capacity as a Deputy Opposition Leader, please allow me to give you the of my debate. First, I will start by reporting baseless and the senseless points by the opposition bench. In fact, this is the worst opposition bench I've ever seen. Straighten the points of my beautiful Prime Minister, pinpoint the weaknesses of our educational system as the government, and then give alternatives on what we are going to do as a government. I'm going to pinpoint the weaknesses of our government, and as every government for that matter, then give alternatives on what we are going to work out on those points. Take a POI at my 5th minute, only from the opposition leader. If you are brave enough, summarize, and in summary, I will conclude. Following the structure of my debate, Speaker of the House, I will first start by reporting. And to start by reporting the opposition leader, you came and he said, the Prime Minister said they didn't leave. They leave because there is inadequate skills. The Prime Minister says they leave because there is inadequate skills, and he says no for that. I mean, we are the government, and whatsoever we say here starts in this House. Let me remind you that there's only one university of skills which belong to the government, us the government, that is the USED. So what he says is the truth, because they leave because there's adequate skills. There's only USED available for skills. And he says the construction of schools. My Prime Minister says there's construction of schools by MRC. You asked when was it established? Well, I will tell you when it was established. It was established by 29 January 2013, and when MRC Holland started helping schools. It started by 29 January 2013. And to start by the rebutting of the opposition leader, he said economic instability. Is Gambia the only country suffering from economic instability, if I may ask? Is Gambia the only country suffering? Do you know us, the government? Do you know what's the budget for the Gambia every year? The budget for the Gambia is $9 billion. If you don't know, let me ask you. So you cannot just come and say there's economic instability. We are the government. We are the one in charge, and we know what is happening. The budget every year is $9 billion. So you cannot come and say economic instability. There's economic instability, and you allow us to believe that. That doesn't hold as far as this House stands. And as far as we are the government, we know that our budget for each fiscal year is $9 billion. Moving on to her second point, where she said that political instability and governance. Political instability and governance. Are you serious? Are you serious? Political instability and governance. How? What does political instability and governance has to do with illegal migration? I mean, political instability and governance has not to do with illegal migration, because there are a lot of countries going through illegal migration, which there is no. Do you know that it was reported by 2019 by the World Health that Gambia has the highest peace, like the rate of Gambia's peace is 90%. So you cannot just come here and say there are political instability and governance except us to take that. And as far as I stand as the opposition Prime Minister, that point doesn't hold water. On to her next point, where I say environmental factors and climate change. So you mean environmental factors and climate change? If they are in the winter, they go because Gambia is cold or because Gambia is hot. Which one? What do you mean by the environmental factors and climate change? So if they are in the winter, they will embark on the illegal route just because they enjoy summer more than winter, or they enjoy winter more than summer. I mean, come on, this is a noble house, not a real fast like yourself. The next time you come here, make sure you make sense, okay? I hope you get that into your skull. So, and Gambia has a favorable climate, of course, by WHO organization. Gambia has a very, very favorable condition. So you see, all those points are bogus, and as far as I am concerned, and as far as my able government is concerned, that doesn't hold water. So moving on to my structure, moving on to my points now, Honorable Speaker, I will start by settling the points of the Prime Minister. Well, my able Prime Minister talked about the regional inequalities in educational access. As we all know, there is inequalities in our educational access. We are in the urban areas. All the university, or all the top universities are in the urban areas instead of the rural areas. Let's say the Gambia University, the UTG, is in the urban area. Like there is no standard university that belongs to us, the government, that is in the urban area, except for the BASE. That's just a teacher training center. And not everybody wants to be a teacher, so not everybody would like to join the teacher training college. There is no university. There is no the skill center is in the urban area, as we all know. MDI, which is for business administration, and all of that is all in the urban area. So you see, as far as this household and as far as he's the Prime Minister, that was because he is in charge of the government and he knows what is happening. The next point is inadequate skills. Of course, inadequate skills. Us, the government, because the only institution we had that belongs to us is USAID. So we all know there is inadequate skills because only 10% of youths are into skills. According to the International Labour Organization, only 10%. So into her next point, low level of education. Of course, there is no level of education in the Gambia. And as the government, we are aware of that. And the rate of dropouts is 51.3% annually by the International Labour Organization and by GBOS in collaboration with GBOS. So all happened. And the 2019 survey by the African Development Bank, AFDC, had 42% of potential migrants were motivated by the belief that they could access better education. So you see, all those are factors. So moving on to my points, Honorable Speaker. First of my points is inadequate opportunities for higher education. As you know, we have only one university, which is the University of the Gambia, which was established in 1999. There is inadequate skills for higher education. The university is the Gambia, is the only primary university we have, and they only offer standard fields, which is law, medicine, and economics. So you see, so all those are factors that are leading to inadequate opportunities. We have only UTG, MDI for business, and the USAID vocational and technical education. And there are statistics that in 2020, a study was conducted by the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology that less were enrolled in STEM, that is science, technology, and engineering and mathematics, programs which are critical for development. Another study was conducted, statistics from the UNESCO, initiated for statistics, indicate that the gross enrollment ratio for higher education in the Gambia was 8.8% in 2020 compared to the average of 30.8% for sub-Saharan. So get that in your ethics scores and don't come here and say nothing but bogus. Moving on to my second point, Honorable Speaker, unemployment and underemployment. Unemployment rate stands at about 40.1% are estimated by the World Bank. That is too much. There is underdevelopment and there is undevelopment. So as we know, 4.1 is not 4, so that is very, very high. And there are statistics that, according to the data from International Labour Organization, ILO, and Gambia Bureau of Statistics, that unemployment rate among Gambians, 15 to 35%, was 41.5%. PR accepted, please. Accepted. Fast, please. I don't have time.
So the time for POI has elapsed.
Okay, that is it. So my third point is limited data and technological education. As you know, limited digital and technological education. Let's take example of the University of the Gambia, School of Journalism and Digital Media. This not digitalized. They don't have nothing like the radio or TV station that they can use to practicalize things because their course is all about interactive and journalism. So there is no TV radio station for the School of Journalism. There's no TV station. There's no radio for them to practicalize their career. And the statistics by the World Bank in 2020 find out that less than 5% of secondary schools in the Gambia receive education in computer science or digital technologies, placing them at a development in the global job market and increasing their desire to migrate illegally. So you can see all that. The 2022 UNESCO Global Education also monitoring report stated that 1.5% of the Gambia's national budget was allocated to improve technological aid. So moving on to alternatives, all these are weaknesses. So the alternatives as a government that we are going to give will be providing scholarship. We are the government, we are in charge here. We are providing scholarship, as we all know that. So provide scholarship opportunities, increase the budget of the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, and the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education 80%. Increase access to higher education like master's program, PhD, and other fields of studies. Lower the tuition fees for the university. And that's it. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, for that. Please give me a minute while I greet you. Okay, so the House is set to hear from the final speaker. That is the Deputy Opposition Leader. So, Deputy Opposition Leader, if you're set, we'll hear from you.
Honorable Speaker, please, before starting my time, can I please address something? Hello, am I audible? Please, before starting my time, can I address something? The Deputy Opposition Leader, please, she attacked my leader by calling her senseless or something. Please, we should be respectful as much as we can, because this is a debate and like we are all intellects, so the respect should be there. Like all her statements were very irrespectful, and that's not what we're here for. Thank you. I will, please, can you start my time? Then I'll go ahead to start. The roots of migration run deeper than education. They are intertwined with the complexities of life. Honorable Speaker and esteemed members, in my capacity as the Deputy Opposition Leader, I'll commence by outlining the structure of my debate, which includes reminding the House of the motion, rebuting the points of the government bench, strengthening the points of my able opposition leader, give my points, accept the POI in the 5th minute, give an alternative, summarize, and then in summary I shall conclude. Strictly following my structure, the motion before this House reads: this House believes that the illegal migration is caused by it's caused by the weak educational system in the Gambia. I'll move on to refute the vague points made by the government bench. Wow, I was surprised by the Deputy Opposition Leader. Why are you against the motion or for the motion? Why are you talking about underemployment and unemployment? You should talk about education system, and I should talk about underemployment and unemployment. Because underemployment and unemployment are the main reasons why the youth of the Gambia are using this illegal migration. Also, I couldn't get your points properly because of how fast you are, or I don't know, you were calling.
Deputy Opposition Leader, you go on, please.
Should I start again?
I did not hear what you said you were going, but if you're set, I can start the time now.
No, this one they want. Okay, can I start again?
What was it that you wanted to address first?
No, I wanted to address the Deputy Opposition Leader because she was being disrespectful, terming my opposition leader as senseless and saying certain words that are no respect. This is a debate, and she should be respectful because all of us are mates here. So that was what I wanted to address before starting my debate. Thank you.
And also,
You please start. I'll start the time now.
The roots of migration run deeper than education. They are intertwined with the complexities of life. Honorable Speaker and esteemed members, in my capacity as the Deputy Opposition Leader, I'll commence by outlining the structure of my debate, which includes reminding the House of the table motion, rebuting the baseless point brought forth by the government bench, strengthening the plausible points of my able opposition leader, give my personal points, accept the POI in the 5th minute of my debate, give an alternative, and if time permits, as a summarize, and in summary, I shall conclude. Strictly following my structure, the motion before this House believes that illegal migration is caused by the weak educational system in the Gambia. I'll move on to refute the vague points made by the government bench. The government bench came on board talking about unemployment and unemployment. Are you in for the motion, or are you for the motion or against the motion? Because as far as I remember, you are for the motion, and you should be talking about educational system. Unemployment and underemployment is on us because the main reason why youth are leaving the Gambia is because of underemployment and unemployment. You also, I was not able to get your points because of how hasty you were. You also made mention of 9 billion being the annual budget. Why was that from? Where is that from? I've never heard of it since I've been a citizen of the Gambia. I've never heard of 9 billion. Where is that from? Please get your facts next time when you're coming. This is a debate. I will now move on to strengthening the points of my opposition leader. My opposition leader widened the perimeter. This is because the government bench came here and wanted to take us for a ride. We believe that was on purpose. However, we are saying that the House believes that illegal migration is caused by the lack of political will in the different sectors and not the weak educational system in the Gambia. One of the points he made mention of was economic instability and poverty. This is very obvious. Many of the youths will embarking in this illegal migration aren't devoid of education. Reported by France 24 on the 30th of June 2023 has it that globally, Mexican migration to the US soared due to economic crisis in Mexico in the 1980s, 1990s, and now, even though Mexico has a relatively robust education system. Comparing this to the Gambia, this suggests that economic conditions are a factor to consider and not the educational system leading to illegal migration. She also made mention of said illegal migration is caused by political instability and governance, which the government bench were against. But don't worry, I'll strengthen it so that you get it in your head. This is eminent, as she highlighted during former President Yahya Jammeh's stand that the target to opposition of government led to the seeking of asylum by embarking on illegal migration. Again, backed by statistics and report by the United Nations of High Commission for Refugees, UNHCR, published by Fatu Networks Adamasane on the 16th of August 2023, has said that governance and political conflict drive displacement in the Gambia and many regions in Africa. This highlights that the issue is not solely on education. She went on talking about climate change and environmental factors. Since the government bench, are talking about winter awesome. We are not talking about that. We are talking about farming outcome. Let me get that into your head. She, as reported by Kate Fatou Lamin Fati, the Minister of Agriculture has more educated and degree holders in the Gambia, yet illegal migration is on the rise. So how can the government convince us that these demand factors can be abated by the educational system? You talking about your alternative without implementing your alternative is very ridiculous. Moving to the other point about of my debate, I'll table my personal points to this house. My first point is labor market demands in host countries. Illegal migration is mainly driven by labor market demands rather than weak education in home countries. Many Gambians migrate to fill low-wage jobs in agriculture, construction, and domestic work in places like Spain, Italy, and the US. This shows that educational shortcomings aren't the main factor. On Thursday, 24th of October 2024, it was broadcasted on K-Fatu at 7 p.m. GMT that in the US, migrants from the Honduras, El Salvador, and Guatemala seek low-skilled job opportunities, focusing on economic prospects instead of education. A Pew Research Center study also states that many migrants move to meet labor demands, and education plays a lesser role in this decision. This will take me to my second point, which talks about diaspora and network effects. Illegal migration is often supported by diaspora networks, where those who have migrated encourage others to follow, regardless of education, and Gambians are no exception to this. A World Bank report from January 23, 2024, noted by Ibrahim Cham on Gambia Radio and Television Services, states that migrants frequently move to countries where they have family or connection, facilitating easier integration and indicating education is not the primary factor. This shows that network presence and the promise of better living conditions rather than education drive illegal migration. Finally, to my last point, we talks about weak security system. Many migrants leave Gambia through our seas, and it raises the question, why are the authorities responsible for guarding our waters? If security measures were stricter and effective policies were implemented, these individuals wouldn't have the opportunity to embark on such a journey. The reality is they are leaving because the security is currently very weak. To my alternative, our alternative highlights global migration patterns, particularly from the Philippines. A 2020 International Labour Organization study found that illegal migration stems from socio-economic pressures and not educational force. Despite its strong educational system, many Filipinos seek better paid jobs abroad due to labor shortages. The Philippines has successfully created well-paying jobs to be able to curb the menace of illegal migration, suggesting that the Gambia could also address migration through economic solutions rather than blaming the innocent education alone. For instance, a 2023 American Census Bureau report identified India as one of the top 3 countries with the highest number of immigrants. So the government, do you want to tell me that India's education system is weak? If that is the case, then why are we here as students? Can you please explain that? So I guess that's a POI. Can you comment with your question, please?
You made mention of the weak security of the Gambia. Can you please tell us how the security of the Gambia is weak compared to other countries, please? I want to know, because as the government, we know that our security is very tight. So can you please tell us what the security about?
Okay, maybe I should remind you of how big the security is. Go to the, let me tell, let's cite USA as an example. Go to the rivers of USA and try to migrate from one port to another and see whether you will be. Your security system is very weak. There are no police, no security in any of the waters. If there were security, then will they allow the migrants to leave the borders of the borders of the Gambia? So please get that into your head. Don't ask that question again. You know your government have weak security system. To the summary of my debate, I came before this house, demanded the House of the motion, refuted the inaccurate points of the government bench, gave way to the points of my ever-promising opposition leader, which were economic instability and poverty, political instability and governance, climate change and environmental factors, highlighted my personal points, which were labor market demand in host countries, diaspora and network effects, weak security system, accepted a POI, gave an alternative, citing the Philippines as a case study and how they were able to curb the menace of illegal migration. Summarized and in conclusion, the opposition argues that illegal migration from the Gambia is not primarily due to weak education system. Instead, it stems from complex socio-economic and global factors, including economic hardship, governance issues, climate change, labor demands, and diaspora networks, all excavated by a lack of political will. As the saying goes, no one leaves home unless home is a mouth of a shark. Let me get that to the head of the government bench. I thank you all.
Mr. Bite, you are not audible.
So I'll just hand over. The inputs that allocate the debate. I was saying out the grading, the final grade. Abdul Karim, are you here?
Yes, I'm here with you. Thank you so very much. And those were very wonderful presentations from all the 4 debaters. I really, really enjoyed this topic. Following the agenda for today's debate, I would like to invite on the audience, if you have your contributions towards the motion table here, you can raise your hand and I will invite you to share your thoughts with us. First on the line, we have Modu Lewis.
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum. Abdul Karim and to everyone that is present here. Well, that was a really wonderful argument. But am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. If you can please just increase your volume.
Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. Is it good now?
Yeah, you are fine. Okay.
Okay, I'll just make it brief. Okay, from what I heard from the debaters is like there's this MRC Holland that is building schools, but what we should focus on it's like the population of people who are using this illegal route. What age category are these people? Like I don't guess like the high school people or primary school people are using this illegal route. Most of the time, the people who are traveling using illegal migration is after their grade 12 graduation. I guess that was one of the most important points they should have talked about. And the reason is, I will take a reference from my batch when I graduated back in 2021. There were over 15,000 candidates in the Gambia who took that exam, that YA exam. Only 900 and something had university entrance. That is 5 credits, including maths and English. So all the other 14,000 people, what are they going to do? What are they going to do after high school? Yeah, some people might argue that the Gambia College is there, but to 14,000 people, the Gambia College cannot contain 14,000 people. That is where I wanted to talk about. So, and they were talking about economic. All of them talk about the economic stability in the Gambia. Well, that is a very good point. But what is the reason why? If people are not able to have money, or if people are poor, what is the reason why? We should start from the root. Before we go further, we should start from the root. Why are these people not having money, or why are these people poor? One, if they don't have the chance to undergo this undergraduate program, if they cannot go to university and then later go find jobs, obviously, if they are not doing something, they will not be able to receive money or something, unless they do it with crime. That is the only way they can have their money. So for me, in my own opinion, I think that education plays an important role. The education plays an important role because if there are more undergraduate institutions in the Gambia, like people will be able to, at least if they don't have the chance to go to University of the Gambia, there will be other tertiary institutions where they can join. At least if they graduate with diplomas or something, they will be able to have a job that will be able to sustain them. Yeah, I guess that is the only thing I wanted to contribute about. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Lewis, for your contributions. I would like to invite on Mani Majane. If Manima is not with us, can we have Mr. Abdullah Njai, please?
Thank you very much, Academic Secretary, for giving me the floor. I would also want to thank the participants and everyone here. Okay, coming to the topic of discussion or the debate, it's a very interesting one, but every human being or everyone with a senses know that it doesn't make sense to say the illegal migration is caused by the education system. Number one, okay, do you have any record that any of these people that have traveled through the illegal way are going to school? None of them, to be honest, none of them. They're only looking for, the answer is economic, bro. You cannot just defeat it. All of them that travel are looking for money. All those that are going for educational purpose are going under the right way. They never go illegal. So it's an economic issue because all these people that are going to Spain, Italy are being laborers and all that kind of job. That's why one of the debaters said, I think the opposition bench said, that this is a labor market. They're going to look for a high paid jobs. That is actually the reason. Yes, MSC are building schools and all that, but again, that is the different thing. The problem is the economic problem. People are not traveling to go and learn. You don't have the statistics. Tell me if you see anyone that has been to Europe and he's going to school through Bagwe. No, most of them that are going, and you may mention Louis about these grade 12 graduates. I think the debate has even been mentioned of technical schools. I think linking that with what Louis said about graduating grade 12 and one of the government bench speaking about no vocational school. I think this is why we need to follow the news. As Gambians, please, out of the topic, let's be following the news, because if you have been following the news, you will realize that the government have technical and vocational skills TVEC been advocated for since 2016. And that has caused all the regions in the Gambia has now TVEC schools. Please, Dindemba and Tikera ones, all of them, please. It's good sometimes to know the statistics. There is TVEC schools even in CRR, the Forest region, and URR. So there are technical and vocational skills available. But are the youth really ready to take on these things? That is the question that you need to ask. Not that, okay, yeah, they're going because they graduated from grade 12. You graduated from grade 12 and you're here studying. Someone graduated and failed. That's not the problem of anyone. It's your problem as a student. Take responsibility. And one thing that is very important is if, for instance, countries like India, Indonesia, most of these big countries, education systems are weak. It's a question that is very important that the debater asks. Why are you here as students? So you and I are here because of that government education system, and you still want to blame the education system because someone has failed or someone is not doing well. That is a wrong perspective. Even a grade 6 student can get out of it if you want to. Before, people don't need this kind of thing, but if you leave this conclusion, you will realize that this is actually the issue. I don't want to use much more time because I know many people have Jerry, please. Yeah. But the actual fact is, it's very unfair to blame our educational system. It's very unfair. To be honest, this is very unfair because it has no link. Thank you.
That is Mr. Njaya there saying it's very unfair to blame the education system. But before I invite Mr. Fati and Mr. Bojan, Mr. Lewis, do you have anything to say to Mr. Njaya? Because I saw
yes. I want to reply to Mr. Njaya about something. Yeah.
Okay.
What I wanted to say is, maybe the intention of these illegal migrants, maybe their intention is not to go outside to go to education, but if you ask them, each and every one of them, if you ask them, they take this illegal migration. If they reach their desired countries, if they reach the camp, they go to education. That is fixed. They go to education on that maybe 6 months or 1 year. In camp, they must go to education. That is a must. That shows how the importance of education is. If they don't go to education, they don't leave that camp. If they don't go to school in those countries, they don't leave that camp. So it's a must that they should go to education. So what I'm saying, I'm not saying that maybe education is the primary focus, but education is very important. That's what I'm saying.
Sorry to interrupt.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Okay. You can come.
Mr. Njaya, you will come, please. Don't worry.
I'm just giving a one word, please. Just please. It's not interruption. These people are going to education not to go and learn to pursue education. They are going to learn language. Don't link the two. He's trying to give people we know, please. We know these people that are going to schools on the camp, and they have to be minors. It's not everyone. These are underage. That is not underage. That goes to camp, taken to school, and that they have to learn language. Not an academic professor, please. That is very clear, please. Thank you.
Mr. Lewis, you can proceed.
No, it's fine. I will have this debate with Mr. Abdullah later.
Okay.
And I will not want to take much of your time. Yeah, thank you very much.
And please, you can invite me to moderate that debate as well.
Okay.
No I would like to invite on Mr. Mamadou Fati to share his contributions with us on the motion table here.
Thank you very much, Abdul Karim. Good evening. I want to use this opportunity to thank the debaters for putting up that wonderful arguments. On the topic tonight, weak illegal migration is caused by weak education systems in the Gambia. I think here the debaters should have focused, especially they should have focused more on what is weak education system or what is determined to be a weak education system. So in my own opinion, I believe weak education system, especially in the context of Africa, contributes a lot to the influx of migrants to Europe. When you talk about education, we need to define what education is. Education goes with skills. Education should prepare people such that they do not need to be moving from their country to another country to search for the same jobs that they could have created and get in their countries. Now, what is a weak education system, or what are some of the things that are characterized when you talk about a weak education system? One of the key elements of weak education system is low achievement of students in grade 12. Let's say someone that have 6 credits in English and maths, or 7 credits, and normally these people are found in expensive schools like Nusrat, Gambia High, these Methodists. Someone that have 6, 7 credits, will they think of going to the back way? No. Just follow the trend of those that are embarking on this dangerous journey are people that do not have the desired university entry grades. They perform low in their grade 12. Some of our classmates, some of our colleagues, because they do not have the university entrance, the required entry, the required credit, they embark on this journey. And they make it. So that is a result of what? A weak education system. And another thing is poor governance and management. And when we talk about poor governance, this is what we call ineffective administration. Right now, it is happening in the Gambia. Most of the offices there are not efficient. People are there, they are educated, they finish their bachelor's, they finish their master's, but the education is weak because it's theory. We are taught to be memorizing. We are not taught to be critical thinkers. We are not taught to be innovative like the education systems we have in the developed world. Now, we are supposed to work on these weak education systems in order to avert the prospects of illegal migration. So obviously, I still believe that the weak education system contributes immensely to illegal migration, right? And one of the other aspects is the lack of the outdated curriculum that we are using. The curriculum that we have until now, the Ministry of Higher Education, they are not yet ready to come up with a fully-fledged curriculum that we can follow. So if we are not having those kind of curriculum that can develop our youngsters mentally, such that they can be able to reason with themselves, that they can make it in the Gambia, it's just a waste of time. This Tech-IFI project issue have been talked about for a while. The mentality, the mindset still does not change. It cannot change. Someone have already grown up. Let's say, like we say in Fuller, I think. Let me say it in English. Like a tree, if you want to strengthen a tree, you strengthen the tree when it is very young. You cannot live until the tree grows. Then you want to strengthen it. It will break down. So you have to catch them young. You have to instill those kind of things at a young age. That is what we are supposed to do. That is the only way we can move the country forward. So I believe still now, like I said, I stand on the fact that weak education systems contribute a lot to illegal migration. So the bad governance that we are talking about, the inefficiency in the workplace that we are talking about, all those things is as a result of weak education system, because a good education system should train you to be someone who solves problems, should train you to be someone who will not see that risk.
Mr. Fadi, sorry to step in here. I have received around 4 raised hands, and I will just like to give you 40 seconds to summarize. No, you can just summarize in 40 seconds.
All right. So yes. So essentially, that is my point. I still believe that the weak education systems contributes a lot to illegal migration, and unless and until we stand together to strengthen this education system across the corners, make sure we come up with an education system that serves our interest, an education system that is in contrast with the reality of the country. We are not doing away with illegal migration. We are going to continue having illegal migration, even though we stand day and night advocating against it, but we are still the same people that are supporting it because we do not have the right education that is required. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Fati. I would like to invite on Mr. Seni Bojan.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks, Abdul for letting me in. I want to thank all the debaters for their wonderful deliberation. Yeah, like Mr. Fati just said, I was just having the same thought in mind. Like, I think some of the reasons why people are engaging into this illegal migration is as a result of our poor educational system. That's number one. Like Gambia, if we look at our educational system, it is forcing us to cram than to know things and like it is forcing us to be cramming things than to be innovators. Look at our educational system. Let's say grade 12, if you are doing 9 courses, a science student or a commerce student, let's say for instance, I have been doing accounting and other courses alongside doing geography, doing agriculture, things that have no relation with my field of studies. At the end of the day, you cannot graduate with a good solid credit to get entry into university or the places. And you sit down, becoming a dropout, you end up going to Berkeley. But I think one of the most important factors that forces people to go to Europe is, let's put education aside, I think is the low level of income in the Gambia. Yeah. 2023, I did an audit at the Gambia Police Force Credit Union. I was surprised to find out that most of the Gambian security servicemen were engaging in burglary. They will take loan from the credit union and go to burglary. If you look at their salary, it's $3,500. I was surprised. A police officer, an army, less than $5,000 as salary, not basic gross salary. Where would that take you to? You remove your transportation, you remove your fees money, you have nothing. So they will take loan, two of them. I guarantee you, you guarantee me, you will go to burglary. Like there are thousands of funds missing at the credit union. When you ask them where is this money, what they tell you, they all went to burglary. You cannot trace them. A university graduate, you graduate from university, you go look for a job. They give you a salary of less than $10,000. My friend, why will you survive? It's not only graduates, high school dropouts that are going to burglary. Even university students whom they are working. If there's a chance to go, they will go. You cannot be in the Gambia and you are working, receiving a very small salary. Our economy is very poor. There is the labor market is small. Every year, thousands of students are graduating from the University of the Gambia, MDI, Gambia College. Talkless of other international students. India here, you have China, you have America. If all those people go back home, what is the job? People are in the are in the public sector. They reach the age of retirement, they are not retiring. They are not giving chance to young ones to come in. You'll be working for 20 years, 30 years, you're not making any money. Someone just go to Parkway within 5 years, he make a lot of money, build big houses, take his parents to heart. It will motivate other people also to go. So I think the main factor here is the money. No matter how educated you are, at the end of the day, we all want money. Pursue my degree. You been here pursue my degree. At the end of the day, what do we all want? We all want good salary, fast salary, good money, live a good life. If you and I go back home to the Gambia and you're not having the salary that we expect, imagine having a degree going back there paying you $10,000. Bag of rice is almost okay. Remove your transportation, remove your fees money. What are you going to be left with? It will trigger you to go to back way or choose another way to go to Europe and make it a pasture. So I think the main factor here is the money, is the economy of the Gambia. Our economy is not actually very good. And I think that is the main reason why most of us are going to Bagwe. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. And just to remind the audience that the motion tabled here is this House believes that the illegal migration is caused by weak educational system in the Gambia. I would like to invite on Mr. Paseni Sidi Jamme to share his opinions or thoughts about the motion. Mr. Jamme.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, everyone present here. I once again want to thank all the debaters for those wonderful contributions. So they both did, um, branches did justice to the topic. But as it is debate, we always have different opinions and then different ideas when it comes to um when it comes to the emotions. So I just want to make sure that I'm straightforward. So understanding the emotion is really important in debate because the moment the word cause was mentioned in a motion, it is always a problem. And the debaters need to understand that the word cause actually have to do with something that really is the main factor of it causing it. It's not an association. So if I find myself in this debate, anyone wants to analyze this debate, that's going to be the target they're going to focus on. And then the cause, what they term as a cause to that leads to illegal migration is weak educational system. So if you interpret the debate, you will understand that are we now saying that it's only weak educational system that is really causing illegal migration? Let's remember, illegal migration is not even only through backward. Illegal migration could be of even going to a place for a conference and then you abscond. Because if that happened, you are illegally in that particular country. So undoubtedly, on your record, it's going to be written as illegal. I'm just trying to make sure that I define it based on how I understand it. So, more saying that if people are actually going to people are actually traveling, it's as a result of weak educational system of the Gambia. You've insulted the Gambia one. You've completely insulted the university graduates. You've completely insulted college graduates. And then looking into the consideration of things, it's really so much serious that and like the debate is so sensitive because if any university graduate is to listen to this or any college graduate is to listen to this, you tell them that okay, people are actually going to like meaning like you are actually telling them that their education have no substance. Their education is not actually fulfilling to man the capacities in the Gambia, which is really something serious. Because looking into statistics, if you go back to statistics of people that actually landed in Italy or any other European country, they will tell you the main cause why we took this migration is because our country is currently, filled with conflict. President Jammeh is doing this. We are not having the resources that we need. Honestly, no one will tell you that it's because of weak educational system. If you do that, automatically they're going to return you back. Because what happens is if you're applying to even schools in the United States or any other country, you need to provide your transcript. If your transcripts aren't good or sufficient enough, do you think those people will accept you? They will never accept you, obviously. They will never accept you. So I'm just trying to make sure that I stick to the topic itself. Because whenever a cause is mentioned in a motion, be really sensitive of how you deal with it. Because cause is very straightforward. It means the one thing that you are trying to focus on. And here we are focusing on which educational system. But anyone who you talk to, they will tell you that obviously with educational system, it's not the reason why people are going to illegal migration or why people are going in for illegal migration. Let me take myself as an example. I'm here. If do you think that after my education here, I will still want to go back to the Gambia? Yes, I will want to go back to the Gambia, but the motivation is lacking because the resources that I may actually need or what I may actually be expecting may not possibly be there. So the best cause that lead to illegal migration is lack of opportunities for the youth. It's lack of the resources that the youth may definitely need for them to be able to deliver as expected. Like the previous adjudicator just mentioned, Basani Boja, something like that. If we are to consider the number of people that are actually receiving the minimum salary that they deserve, honestly, it's going to be devastating. Because if you are receiving 20,000 in the Gambia monthly, obviously you won't be able to help your family to survive in that condition. So obviously we've seen teachers leaving the Gambia going through Bakwe. We've seen university graduates leaving the Gambia going through Bakwe. So I'm just like all these people actually have the required knowledge that they want. I mean, the universities have a structured system. We have professors there. We have doctors there. So if you want to bank on the fact that it's because of the weak educational system that is leading people to illegal migration, it's really going to be insulting in some way around. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Pasidi Jammeh, for those contributions. I would like to invite on His Excellency, Mr. Ibrahim Bo.
Yeah, thank you so very much, and thanks to all contributors. I believe a lot is discussed here. Yeah, I would just like to set light on some point. That is, this is a debate. And when a motion is placed before you, what you have to do is just to debate on it. Therefore, let us not take anything personal or to say it's insult or whatsoever. It's just a debate, and they are debating on the motion. So after the debate, we are all free to come and give our ideas. If you have different view with them, just come with it and give this is the actual cause of it. Even if they are from the same place with them or whatsoever, if you know that is not the problem, you are free to give wording about it. But the debaters, I'm not only the people here, but anyone listening to the debate after this, don't take it from them as that this is a debate, that this is a motion that they are facing and they have to debate on it. Therefore, they are doing what is expected of them. So whether that is the truth or not, they are expected to debate on that particular thing, and they are expected also to support their points. And any point that they can bring to support, they are going to bring it. So let us not take things like, oh, whatsoever, or even when you are watching, you say like this debaters, this and that. That's not them when they were debating. When they were debating, they were prime ministers, opposition leaders, and those things. That's how they were debating. So the topic is very interesting, and we can all give our suggestions, like what is the problem? Because illegal migration is a problem for Gambian. Every day, our youths are leaving the country. Every day. Today you will have that in this place we lost about 70 youths. Tomorrow, the other boat is taken off. What is the problem? Whether it's the education, the economic, like all sectors, have to work together to ensure that we solve this problem. So I believe then this is a platform as intellects to discuss and say that, yeah, education is a problem. This one also is a problem, but not to just maybe say that education is not the problem, this is the problem, or this is not the problem, whatsoever. I believe all these sectors in the Gambia are responsible. Education is not doing well in the Gambia. Let's call a spade a spade. And after education also, coming to the economic is not also doing well. So therefore, as intellects, let's try to see way out on those, those things or those sectors, how we can work on those sectors to ensure that the Gambia is performing. People working are well remunerated so that they will like to stay on that job rather than leaving and so on, so on. And those people that are dropped out, they are also, like accommodated in the, system. So I believe that's it. So that was just my take on the debate. So thank you so very much.
Thank you so very much, Mr. President, for those contributions. I would like to invite on Luis.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Yes, good evening once again to everyone, and thank you so much. Well, first of all, I want to congratulate the debaters, and I want to say that this is a win-win for all of us. And it's not an easy thing, being here and debating among each other, which is very good, and which also contributes a huge, how will I say, unity among us, most especially Gambians here in India, even those that are back at home listening to us. But I just want to throw a big comment on the motion. One, we are talking of illegal migration, and we say that it's because of poor education system. I will say that when you check on our country, we are winning, and we are trying a lot, especially when it comes to the sector of education. Let us not actually look at the bad side of it or bad results that is coming out of it, but we are trying a lot. And it is, to me, I'm saying that Gambia, before and now, there is a huge difference. And thank God that the minister is trying a lot to make sure that we are seeing ourselves, our education system being pushed higher up. So illegal migration is not, to me, it's not caused by poor educational system. It's just one or two things that the streets especially is teaching us how to survive in our own country. I would say that maybe a bit of the lack of the government concentrating on youths especially, which is affecting all of us. Not only those that are, well, I would say that people that grow up in a poor family, and it is not it. Illegal migration is affecting all of us. And that is one thing that we should address here. It's not because of poor educational system. As Basini said, we are seeing people that are going home, that are taking the back way while they're having good grades. I've seen university students that are leaving home, taking the back way. It's not because of they don't have the opportunity to go to school. It's because of hard economic system. And most of the time, we also that has the opportunity to say that, okay, I've traveled outside. They don't even want to listen to us because they felt like, okay, you have gone out. And it is true. We cannot even motivate that sometimes because of how situation back at home looks like. So to me, buying that idea of is because of education, well, I won't agree with that. So that's my throw in there, and thank you all.
Thank you so very much, Luis. Just a reminder, if Mr. Bite is with us, so in case you are ready to step in to announce the results, you can just notify me. I would like to invite Mr. Mahmoud Fadi again.
Abdul Karim, is it possible to respond to 1 or 2? If not possible, please, it's okay.
So in case Mr. Bide is not with us, you can please respond.
Okay.
I give you 60 seconds, please.
Oh my God, it's too small. Well, yeah, I've heard from Pasidi and Louis. See, there's a topic in question, and no one denies the fact that Gambia is making progress when it comes to the education system. And obviously, Gambia have graduates, and of course, there are people, maybe UTG students that are embarking on the back way or whatever. But here, the greater number of the people that are embarking on the back way, obviously, you know, it is very obvious. So having one or few students from the UTG or maybe from the police or service embarking on the back way, those are economic things. And the other thing is, if your education, the education that we are talking about, if it is not making you to be someone who is reasonable, to think critically and to be innovative, the only option available for you is to risk your journey to the back way, then we question your education. It doesn't matter if you pass through the UDG or Harvard. If you are not reasonable, sometimes certain actions you do it in society, people will ask you, are you not educated? Have you not been to school? You should be different. The way you act, the way you behave should be quite different from someone who has not been to school. Gambia is okay, yes, it's our country. But Gambia is weak when it comes to economy. We are leaving the country to go. Why are we leaving? Because we are weak. The same thing, like you have admission. There are some students that are studying in India. They had admission at UTG. They were in UTG for a semester, 2 semesters, 3 semesters. But they got admission for other universities. They came. Why? Because the education system is weak. And when we talk about education system or the weakness of an education system, try to go back and define what education is and define what weakness in education is. Yes, Abdul Karim, thank you. Sorry.
Maybe you can continue after Mr. Bite is ready with announcing.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Thank you.
Over to you, Mr. Bite.
Thank you very much, Honorable Abdul Karim. I know one thing though, and that is if we are to argue over this, we would not sleep today. We will talk until tomorrow. But that is because of the nature of the topic and how relevant it is to our development as young leaders and young Gambians who aspire for a better Gambia for everybody. But so yeah, my responsibility here is not to debate on the motion. It is to adjudicate and give the results, and I would do just that. But I want to indicate before I get into giving the feedbacks. I hope I am audible.
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah, because today, now I did bad and come here. I don't know what happened today. Maybe some people are hunting me, but nonetheless, I am glad that I am audible now. So I want to say that today's debate is an improvement from, personally, I would say is my favorite is my favorite debate, and that is because it is well contested. It is one of the most contested debates that we've had since the start of this debate, and I want to congratulate both teams for representing their states really, really well. So I'll get to the feedbacks, and I'll say that feedbacks are very, very important because they would help you in your next when you're faced on or with similar circumstances. You would know where to improve and how to go about the debate. And that is the only reason that I am giving the feedbacks. I am not giving feedbacks to target anybody here. So I'll start with the Prime Minister. So the Prime Minister gave a structure, which is good, and defined almost all the key terms that are in the motion. I believe the only key term that was not defined is cost, but the definitions were very, very good. And I did not get the reference where the definitions were from. The Prime Minister gave very relevant points. And I want to say that these are very, very important points, and they're very, very relevant to the motion. The first point, the regional disparities, getting into the unqualified teachers, the campuses, one that we have in Basse, very, very, very relevant to it shows a lot about, it speaks a lot about the weak educational system, right? All the points, all of these points relate so much to the weak educational system, because you're telling us that Gambia has weak educational system because of the, by indication, the regional disparities, the unqualified teachers, the lack of skills, the, like all of these things, very, very relevant. But what I was looking more at was how is it relevant to illegal migration, right? And I think you could have done better with every point that was mentioned. The explanations were very good, because I told you when you're debating, once you highlight a point like regional disparities, tell us what regional disparities are. You did exactly that by mentioning that unqualified teachers and that campuses, how we have all the development as far as education is concerned in urban and at the expense of rural, but tie it to the theme that is illegal migration. You could say this by bringing in statistics that we have more people from the rural Gambia that are into illegal migration just because of these disparities. Every point you mentioned, just do it that way, right? So the career guidance as well, that is the lack of skills, which is very true. We don't have any. If we have, it's now that it is being introduced in the Gambia, that the TVET education, and it's not even effective. So you could just relate that and TVET is very important. It is contributing significantly to the development of other states outside of the Gambia, and people see this as an attracting factor that is causing or making them get or engage into this illegal migration. So always when you bring very good points, try to relate it to the main theme. Once you do that, you convince everybody, and you make rebuttals very difficult for the person that is coming next to you. But other than that, other than the connection to, so you've highlighted very, very clearly the weak educational system in the Gambia. But what I think you can improve on is trying to link it to the central theme, and that is the migration. But other than that, it was really, really good. So the low educational levels as well. So when this is another very good point. So the educational curriculum in the Gambia, I think it's very weak, right? It's not an insult to me as a student of the Gambia. It's not. It's just a fact. Because when you get to, we watch TV, we watch news, and you get to other countries, and you see that their curriculum even has dancing and music, and they're teaching these students. We have a lot of people that are very good. I have a friend that I was in the same class with that is very interested in music, but I personally used to discourage him. And that is because of the environment that he found himself in. That environment was not friendly to music, right? But imagine if we're offering music as a course, probably in the university or in high school, he would have found his mates there, and they would relate, and they would help each other develop. But with me, I was always discouraging him, but he's not very bad. So this is all to indicate how the low educational level of the Gambia is. TVET is not here, music education is not here. So, you could always relate that it is because of these things that would force people to get into the illegal migration. So my point essentially is the relation with the migration. But other than that, I do not have any issues with the deliberation and the outline of the points. They were very, very clear, and you did it very, very well. And also one very important thing that I mentioned the other time was the POI. You don't joke with POIs. Once they ask, try as much as you can to take at least one POI. If you don't accept a POI, you lose 5 marks, and it could haunt you. Even 1 mark, let's take this to be an exam. So 1 mark can deny you an A+, just like POIs could deny you a victory in debate. So so that is it. Someone is saying you over-debated too, and because it is mentioned by somebody from there, I am not going to mention. I am not going to get into that. So the opposition leader, just so that I don't stand to be conflicted. Someone link badness. Okay. So the opposition leader gave very, very good rebuttals, right? So when you debate and you're forced to start again, it affects your energy. But I did not sense that. That the rebuttals were, even before the rebuttals, the redefinition of the key terms were very, very important. The other time I mentioned that definition of the key terms would be reserved for the first speaker. If necessary, the second, that is the opposition leader. But it should be need-based. It should not be on the basis of I want to redefine the key terms because I want to, but there is need, and there was need for you to redefine the key terms. And so education and system, if joined, if separated, could mean different things, but educational system is separate from education and system, and she highlighted that, which was very, very good. So by widening as well, she also tried expanding the motion through her own perimeter, which was good. And the rebuttals, I think, were very, very good. I mentioned when you're rebutting, identify the point, tell us what is wrong with the point, and tell us what is right. And that was the format that she followed all through the rebuttals of the point, which was good. So migration caused by, okay, she also outlined that migration is caused by people not greener pasture and not necessarily education, which is of course good, not backed by, sorry, she brought in evidence to back this. When she said that, I was like, okay, that is good. And that is the public opinion, right? That is what we all believe. But I was waiting for her to bring in statistics, which was obvious, which was out then. And so it makes it very, very good. And it gave her the points that she was going to bring, it gave them so much life because you would always relate to the point that the outline that she made even before addressing her points. So the points you mentioned were very good. I believe the political instability could have been given more life because it's a very, very good point. So when you say political instability, and you gave an example of a particular country that I did not get, I did not know, so I lost the country. But I think there is still political instability in the country. And since the context is the Gambia, you can always reference outside of the Gambia. I'm just saying that you could have drawn the example here because there's so much political instability in the Gambia. Every day people get angry because of the political tension between just two parties in the Gambia. So, and this is discouraging. It's causing us as youths, it's very discouraging for us to enter into the political arena, right? And it is making us think elsewhere or look at the possibility of having these done in another country. And so political instability, I think the example that you gave, I'm not saying it's not good, it's good, but relate it to us, right? Because when you're communicating to us, you want us to feel that, yes, this woman is talking to us and she knows what, she can relate to us. So talk about how Barrow and Dabo tension, how now Sabali and Ismail Sise are making us discouraged as young leaders who aspire to contribute to the development of the country, because if you have those learned colleagues that are now misbehaving, it affects us. So that is what I'm saying, that the example could have been here. Not to say that the example was not good, it was really good. So I think the opposition leader did really well with the debate. So the Deputy Prime Minister did very, very well with the strengthening. So one thing I like about the strengthening was, so most of these points, like I said, the points of the Prime Minister, I think she can relate them more to migration. And that was exactly when that was what the Prime Minister tried doing. That was to say that what the Prime Minister, you always, whatever you're done, strengthening a particular point, you try relating it to migration, how it is affecting migration, or how it is fueling migration. So which was very good. The rebuttals as well was it was good. It was, so sorry I'm laughing, but it was because it's really good. And it's because how you manipulatively use the words of the opposition leader to suit what you wanted to portray out there, especially with the environmental factor. What the opposition leader explained and what you interpreted was quite different, but there's nothing wrong with that. That was exactly what she said, and that was how you interpreted it, and there was nothing wrong with that. So my only issue with that, I said the rebuttals were very good, but when you're rebutting, you don't want to spend your entire time rebutting, right? Because there's a mark for rebuttals. No? Inshallah. Sorry about that. So the rebuttals were very, very good, but when you remember, time is of great essence as far as debate is concerned. So when you're debating, make sure that you have you don't limit yourself to just one aspect, because when you're rebutting, it's very nice getting on the nerves of people, especially through rebuttals. When you're rebutting and you're like, yes, you just want to keep on, but don't always do that, because I think you spend so much time on the rebuttals. When you started the rebuttals, you rebutted the the supporting points of the opposition leader, which is not bad. But if you're rebutting, it's always advisable to target the points of the opposition leader and tell us what is wrong with that point and tell us what is right then. You did that though, but you started with the supporting points and then got to the main points, which is very good. There's nothing wrong with that. If you think you can manage, then that is fine. But if you can't, it becomes a problem. So with your points, I think they were very good. That is inadequate universities. So nobody said that we do not have the university. The rebuttals, when they came for the rebuttals, they did not indicate that we do not have the University of the Gambia as the only university in the Gambia. We have other universities. Nobody said that. So regardless of how wrong it is a point. It stands as a point because nobody rebutted. And if that is what this house goes by, then that is what the speaker as well goes by. So the limited digital education as well. Another issue that I have with the Deputy Prime Minister is you over debated. So it was time and you were still going on and on and on. So just be careful of time, because time, as I said, is very, very important. It's not just with debate, but in public speaking as well. So other than that, I think it was really good. It was really, really good for the Deputy Prime Minister, right? The limited digital education, which is very important. And you even cited the journalism school in the university not having radio or TV to practicalize whatever it is being done. That is to indicate that it is weak educational system, and you would always have an ending to relate to migration. Good, which is good. So the final speaker. So the final speaker gave good structures. The strengthening was good. The rebuttals, however, was I think the rebuttals could have been better. So when you're rebutting, when you're rebutting a point, sometimes you can join points and rebut them with you can rebut them at once. You could say she said this and this and this, but they all fall under a particular thing. Then you rebut. I think that you could squeeze the points and rebut them at once, which you did not really do well. I think the rebuttals was good, but you could have done better with the rebuttals, because you indicated that they were mentioning. You made a statement before saying something to rebut their points. It was good, but you could have gone one by one to rebut their points. Some of them you could have squeezed and rebutted, but you did not do that. And probably because you did not have enough time to go through all of that. So you could do more rebuttals next time. Right? So the strengthening were very, very good. There was more emphasis on the strengthening than the rebuttals. That is probably why I am saying you can do better with the rebuttals. Not that the rebuttals were bad, they were not. But there is a particular mark, and it's 7.5 marks is huge for rebuttals. So you don't just want to give that away like that. You want to do more of rebuttals than strengthening, right? And the points that you gave were very, very good. That is the labor market demand, weak security. You even gave an alternative. So it was really, really good. But overall, I want to say this. So when you're debating, you don't always have to disagree with what the person opposite you says. Sometimes you can agree with what they say. Like for the government bench, if the points of the opposition are the economic hardship, the political instability, the environmental factors, you could have agreed. You can say that, of course, I agree. These are factors that are influencing illegal migration in the Gambia. But tie them to what is the motion? You can also tie all of this that they are saying to the weak educational system in the Gambia. So if they mention economic hardship, relate it to education, to the weak educational system in the Gambia. If they mention political instability, agree and relate it to weak educational system. If they mention environmental factors, agree and relate it to the weak educational system, and it would help you. You don't have to disagree with them or fight. You just have to agree. Tell them, yes, I agree with you, but these are points that should come from us, right? Because if you want to mention political instability, it's because of the lack of educational orientation of the people that are in political powers. That is what is contributing to this. So not just for you, but for the debaters that will be coming, and for us who would be debating, not even after this championship, you don't always have to disagree, right? If they bring a point that you think makes sense, agree and try to relate it to yourself. But when you're doing this, be careful, because you may be shaft, you may shaft as well, and you may score 0 for wanting to score everything. So I'll get on to the points, on to the announcement of the results. I think I have spoken too much, but it's because it's semifinals and I need to give details. So the POIs for the government bench, most especially, I advise, and I've always been advising, always take at least one POI, because it's 5 marks and it can have huge implications on the final score. So the government bench scored a total point of 64 points. Government scored 64 points, and the opposition bench scored. So the opposition bench scored 81.5 points. So government 64 and opposition 81.5 points. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. Abdul Karim, now to you.
Thank you so very much. Okay, where should I start, in fact? Thank you so very much. No, I think at this point, someone should moderate this debate for me. Thank you so very much, Mr. Bey, and thank you for those remarks you did about the debaters. Now I would like to invite on Madam VP to give us a closing remarks. If we have Zainab Al Hassan Sanyang, can you please give us a closing remarks? Madam VP.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Can you please give us a closing remarks?
Yes. Okay, so I just want to say, ladies and gentlemen, I want to greet you all as we come to the final of this semi-final debate. I want to thank you all for joining this, and let us take a moment to recognize the hard work, dedication, courage that was demonstrated here by our debaters today. As Mr. Bitte highlighted, he mentioned that our debaters did very great in this debate. It was a very tough debate. Their work, and they have not only showed us a remarkable depth of knowledge, but also they brought us convincing facts that I think we will all be able to understand and have dialogue in. So I want to thank our esteemed judges. Thank you for your valuable guidance throughout this debate. To the fellow debaters, regardless of how we move forward, the winners are there. Everyone is a winner here. There is no loser. So I encourage you all to continue doing what you do. You all are debaters. You all are debaters. You have showcased this here. So we look forward to seeing discussion in the future for our finals, and we hope to see you all there in finals. Thank you all.
Thank you so very much, Madam VP, for those closing remarks. Congratulations to Gujarat and hard luck to Punjab. And now the final is set between Andhra and Gujarat. See you all at the final. Good night from my end.
Mr. Chairperson.